Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to the Successful Marketing Summit, where we gathered some of the best and brightest minds within marketing today. And my name is Mats David Awesome Goldberg, and today I have someone special with me today, Olle Leckne. And Olle, you have a background and an aura that made you mostly known as the LinkedIn expert. And your company helps other companies transform the LinkedIn network into business. And this is done through 3 proven ways of contact on LinkedIn where target groups can be found. And Olle will share some very interesting insights from a survey on how Swedish people use LinkedIn and how that converts into business. So, Olle, welcome to the summit.
Thank you very much, Mats. This is great to be here, and I'm looking forward to share some really interesting information to the people looking into what we're talking about today. And this Successful Marketing Summit seems like a really good idea for you to actually help people market themselves and their companies. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So tell me, Olle, LinkedIn, I ended up on LinkedIn many years ago, and to me it was just like, okay, another social platform like Facebook, but for business. But more than that, I didn't really know. It's just these last few years I understood what you could actually do with it. How come you ended up working with LinkedIn?
Well, as an entrepreneur, and I think I have some special talent or something because I end up very early stage in development and trends. So I actually applied already in January 2004. So that's a long time ago. And I'm looking for platforms. I'm looking for methodologies who can take me from A to B. Okay. So I started out from an entrepreneurial perspective and I saw the potential. So that's how it started.
Okay. And what was it from the beginning, like the idea of getting more business through LinkedIn, or was it, as I did from the beginning, a place to hold your CV and just connect with more business-like people?
Well, I think what's very obvious now is that networking is very powerful. So I joined from a networking perspective and I saw some tendencies. I've joined Facebook and other platforms, but I saw this is a professional network. And that's what made it really, really interesting.
Okay, interesting. Well, it's with many of these platforms, they've been, I know the similarity was made to like a billboard, and I have this question and thought that I heard someone else ask once, and I thought it was so good because you could get the connection to both marketing and how to spread a message. If you could have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, metaphorically speaking, I mean, getting a message out to millions and billions of people, what would that say? And why would you say that?
Okay, that's a really interesting question. And I would think that it would be something that would make people feel, yeah. So I actually can show that billboard for you. So here it comes. Yeah. So this is it. So this is a woman. She's sitting by her computer. She's done a lot of thinking on her whiteboard, and she did it. So this could be you. You could be the sales manager or the marketing manager or another business person who really tried to do something, and they did it. And the question is, what did she do? Okay. Yeah. So she followed her dream and created a steady flow of new customers because she's really interested in digital marketing. But in the end, you want new customers. And her dream was to get a steady flow of new customers. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And that is possible today.
Through LinkedIn.
That's what I wanted to share.
Yeah. So I get it that this is something that now then is possible through LinkedIn. But like, what are some bad recommendations that you hear when it comes to marketing on LinkedIn?
Oh yeah, I think the latest development, the technical development, has supplied salespeople and other with some really powerful automation tools.
Okay.
So my advice is don't use them.
Oh,
And I would
okay.
say on LinkedIn, it can be pretty risky because LinkedIn is starting to track abnormal activities. If somebody is doing something very fast, if they're doing something on several places in the world,
Mm-hmm.
actually the gaming business has been doing this kind of monitoring for many years, and LinkedIn haven't been doing that so much, but now they're doing it. So the risk number one is you're getting blocked. So if you invested a lot in your network, you can lose it all. And the
Yeah.
second thing is, if you're automating too much too fast, you won't actually be able to meet your customer in a respectful manner. You might be spanning them. So that wouldn't work either. So that's risk number two.
Yeah.
So stop with that. That's my recommendation.
So with this, you mean to actually focus on the relationship and not get ahead just to try to get the business side. I mean, you don't do business with
Right.
companies, you do the business with people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you said these automations, is it like automatically messaging people, or what kind of automations are we talking about?
Yes, there are automatic, you can set up a lot of functions, but one of the functions is that you can send a lot of personal messages.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use them to increase your network size, and you can do it for personal communication. But the difficulty to handle this as a human being is that it's very difficult to send personalized messages when you have automation. So it's
Yeah.
like it's getting in between you and your potential connection. That's the
Yeah.
risk, and it happens all the time. And I hope it will stop in LinkedIn, so we can continue to be personal.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah, because I see the same thing in social media, other social medias as well, and that's ruining the networks, as you say.
Yeah.
So what strategies do you recommend then when it comes to planning out a marketing campaign on LinkedIn?
Well, that's another great question, and there are so many ways. But I was thinking of something that would be like the woman we saw. Actually, we have a man here.
Mm-hmm.
This could be a salesperson, and if he would like to get close to his customer, he could use his marketing department, or he could do some stuff on his own. And thanks to a lot of other tools, he can do it quite effectively. But today, I think some of you might actually see that you're in the similar situation as this man. So most salespeople, they have too few new customers or leads to work with every day. So that's the situation. And what do? They use a lot of their time to explore, investigate, to find people to contact. And if they don't have LinkedIn, they're in a big problem. And they don't have enough time to do all these great things. So the strategy is really to use LinkedIn and to do some advanced searches to find the people you want to meet with.
Yeah.
And the other thing would be to use a very special function, which is called sponsored updates. So you can buy this. It's a little bit like a storytelling advertisement service, but it's targeted. So if you know where you're going, you could just show these messages to those people you want to interact with. And that's very effective. It does cost some money though. So I would think those are the two important things. Find people on LinkedIn because you can see them, and then work on building a relationship with those people, or use some of the paid services that LinkedIn offer.
Yeah. So you say that, like, with these sponsored updates, is there a target group that this strategy is not for?
I would say people who are not in contact with people or customers, so they don't have customer contacts in their job description, they wouldn't be very much helped by this strategy.
Yeah. Okay. So apart from like the general network, the LinkedIn network, do you use any special tools or resources when you do the business? Or like
Yes, I do. And
yeah.
I've been investigating quite a few new tools, and there's kind of like explosion. There are quite many new tools that are offered, and it can be a little bit confusing. So I'm using LinkedIn, of course, and I'm using the premium server, which is called Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator gives you a lot of benefits. It does cost something, yes. And then I use tools that you are actually using. So when you got in contact, or you're getting in contact with a new client, you could use an online video service like Zoom we're using right now, and you can of course use Skype or similar services. I use that, and then I use some kind of CRM, and I love HubSpot. I must say there are other great ones too that I've been testing, but HubSpot has a function especially useful for salespeople. You can actually link to their meeting service. So it's a meeting booking service integrating with the calendar and integrating with Zoom. So I've been using this in a large scale, contacting lots of people. So it's very simple for them to make an appointment, and it's very simple to have a 30-minute online meeting.
And this,
and there are lots of others, of course.
Yeah, and this setup that you talked about with HubSpot, do they have? Is that an app, or like something that goes with LinkedIn specifically, or is it like a third-party application?
Well, it's a good question. I've been investigating integration with lots of software, and there are quite a few companies like Salesforce and Microsoft who has this integration. But I think the most beneficial for me and people I work with is actually combining a calendar like the Google Calendar, or if you have the Microsoft Outlook calendar, you could have some other calendar, and the way you book it too. Because if you have those two, not necessarily connecting to LinkedIn, you can actually provide that linked in the personal message in LinkedIn, and then you end up in the calendar or in HubSpot. So HubSpot would actually seamlessly take care of the information, and then you carry on from there. So that's a very, very good way of doing it. So what I found out, I've been working systematically now since April last year. I have these meetings ending up in my Google Calendar. Yeah. And I haven't even asked for them. It's really great.
That's awesome.
I've asked for, yes, but there are coming every day. It's like a fishnet showing me some good news.
Awesome. So you mentioned also Sales Navigator. I know that is something that LinkedIn has within their services. Could you explain what that is and a little bit what you could use it for?
Of course. Sales Navigator is accessible from a computer. You just press another button, and a new application opens up. And it has some really interesting features. I would say the first feature that many people use, and I advise them to use, is you can see your incoming viewers on your LinkedIn profile. Okay. In the normal LinkedIn, which is basic and free of charge, you can only see a few.
Yeah.
But in Sales Navigator, you can see all. So that's really the incoming flow of potential customers. I would call them prospects.
Yeah.
That's one. The other is you have advanced filters. So if you do this searching the advanced searching that I'm suggesting, you can actually be even more specific on which potential clients you get in your searches, and then contact them subsequently.
Okay. Yeah, that's, I mean, anything to help ease out the process, right?
Right. There's a third one that comes to my mind. It's actually an alert. So it will actually provide with some buying signals as well, or selling signals if you want. Okay. Really interesting.
Awesome.
So you can save your leads, and when they do something interesting, you can actually reach out and contact them when they are open for that.
Okay. Okay, so let's say then I started from scratch, or I lost everything that I've done in my business, and now you only had like a month left before hell breaks loose and all the bills are due. What could you use, or how would you do that? Like build up your company again in 30 days if you lost it all through LinkedIn?
I think that's a really, really good question.
Yeah.
And many people might feel like that, although they have had the company for quite some time. And the interesting thing with these super trends is that many things changes very fast. And one of the super trends that makes it very difficult for people to use the same way of working as before is that everything is about the customer. And I mean everything.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a slide that I like to show, because I met with a person who started on LinkedIn quite recently.
Okay.
It's 1.5 years ago, but at that time he was quite new. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So this is actually a case study from how to get business on LinkedIn. So this it's an arrow with some different colors, and perhaps you figure out that those are the tasks that you actually do when you're finding and contacting a new client. So there is a process from target group survey, searching for the target group, finding the right people, getting in touch with the right person, building the relationship, book meeting, have the meeting, send a proposal, prepare and send a proposal, and have follow-up meetings, and you have a contract and invoices. So that's what it's normally about.
Yeah.
So this person, he didn't have LinkedIn. And he understood that this is the process to set up. But some of these are quite long. So I would say search for the target group. If you don't have LinkedIn, that takes a lot of time. And if you don't have LinkedIn, it takes a lot of time to find the right person. And the most tricky one is probably to build relationship and book a meeting. So I would say if your business breaks down and you want to start again, these are the things you really have to be focusing on. And I'll show you what happened in this case. It's so interesting. So their process before you used LinkedIn, from target group survey to invoice, took them 17 hours in investment. So it's not calendar time, it's really investment. How much time does it take to work through this process?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
All right.
Yeah.
And then we have a smaller arrow, okay? That's quite small.
Yeah.
So they used LinkedIn supporting this flow of tasks. And they were quite ambitious. They actually had quite a few people involved in this process. And it took them more than 1 hour. No, it took them less than 1 hour.
Oh, wow.
So if your business is bad or you want it to improve, you should really consider to optimize your target to invoice process.
So in this case, were they many people in the 17-hour process as well doing the work, or was it?
In the beginning, they didn't know what to do. So I guess they were. We started actually, this person wanted to be anonymous, but I can talk about him anyway. He said that, I've talked to everybody. They call us as LinkedIn experts, and I've been talking to LinkedIn and nobody knows. And then we had this meeting. You seem to know something. I want to know this. So we should have a meeting. We should have a meeting every week, he said. So we set up a meeting on Tuesdays, 10 o'clock. We had 1 hour training. Yeah. And well, this was really a challenge to me, because he didn't want to have a training where I told them what to do.
No.
So he said, we've done this and we've done that. And what have you done? And what is the best? Awesome. So we talked about very practical things instead of setting up lots of strategies. And then we shared information for 10 weeks. And after those 10 weeks, they had this process. And they included 2 other tools. They had for invoicing, they had Fort Knox, and they had for actually digital signature. They had Get Accept, which is a very fast-growing Swedish company. It's really a super way of actually making the deals in LinkedIn. You don't even need to visit a traditional homepage. So in there, you can send your proposal, you can have a video conference, you can have chatting, and it tracks who has read this proposal. They can track how many minutes they view the first page, how many minutes they view the second page and the third page. And they optimize the proposal based on the feedback. And if they didn't have enough authority to say yes, you could actually see how it was transferred to somebody else, and then you could follow up with them. So it's really great. You sit like this and you say, hi, I just sent this proposal we talked about, and the important point, you can find it in paragraph 4 on first page, and then you can see the return on investment of page 5 to kind of have them read all the proposals. So they did this really, really good. So I wanted to share this because this is really valuable information for somebody who wants to increase their business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really, like, sure, there are many steps to go through, but I know you're the expert. So if just to any listeners, if you're interested in getting to know more about this, you should definitely contact Olle. He is the king on this one.
There will be a presentation a little bit later for those who
absolutely, want to do that. Absolutely. So where you'll go into this a bit more into deep. Is that right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Right.
Awesome. So, but awesome. Then in your perspective, I mean, what are the top 3 advices you would give companies that plan out to start using LinkedIn in their communication?
Wow. I would say that it's really number 1 is to understand your customer, get closer to them. Mm-hmm. That's number 1. So I actually have another slide. I can show you this.
Yeah.
So what you're told in the introduction is really about turning the network into business. And this doesn't say when you log into LinkedIn. It doesn't say in the inside either. So it's more like a methodology, a way of thinking. So these are some of the people on LinkedIn who are looking for your help.
Yeah.
So actually what we've been doing now for the last 5 years, actually it's more like 15 years, but the last 5 years, we have accelerated our way of packaging a service. And we ended up with a 5-step method to really find the right customers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very focused on LinkedIn. So if you have LinkedIn, you can reach these guys and these girls.
Awesome.
What other strategy would there be? I think that the advice is really to actually, my mentor told me, you actually know too much about LinkedIn. What? I said, well, you know so much about LinkedIn, so you don't listen carefully enough. Ooh. So what do you suggest me to do? So you should put your LinkedIn expertise on the side, really everything there. And then you should if you have a magnifying glass, you should look at the customer like a research object.
Yeah.
Be extremely curious and listen to every part of their life, their situation. And in this, you would actually find a problem or an opportunity that you could transform into a great solution. And that would probably be so valuable so you can earn money from it. That's it.
Awesome. Yeah. I know what you mean with knowing too much. I think many experts in many areas they're so deep in knowledge.
Yes.
That it all becomes like technobabble when they try to explain it to someone. They don't like take it down to that person's level with the jargon and stuff like that. It's very easy to end up there. So good advice from your mentor.
It was so he said that it's really important for you to do this. So I listened very carefully. And first I thought, yeah, he said something, but then I just put it on the side and it works much better.
So you mentioned this about the 5 steps.
Yes.
I guess that's something you're working on right now.
That's right.
Would you like to share that?
Yes, I can share it on a top level, and we can go into more details later on. So this is a a lot of information on one slide.
Mm-hmm.
We call it the LinkedIn expert method. So the first one we're really into by showing this arrow earlier. So get to know your target group, both by doing the target group work. And that can be done in several ways. But if you end up thinking and feeling like your target person, we normally call it a persona. So it would be the girl in the beginning. It could be somebody. If you're really logging on to them, you're in a good position to do some sales and marketing. Otherwise, you will base most of it on assumptions, and it doesn't work that well.
Oh.
And automation won't make it better. So understand your customer. Okay?
Yeah.
Simple advice. And then, well, LinkedIn does do some help. So in the Sales Navigator, there is a tool who really breaks this down into details. And the second thing is, if you like some of these persons and you see that these are really interesting to contact, the second thing is to connect. Okay, that's obvious, but how do you do that? Most people, they just press the blue button and you end up with a standard message.
Oh yeah, seen that too many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens when you, Mats, when you get a standard message? What do you think?
Well, I would say it all depends on if it's a person that I just recently met in real life and we talked about connecting and stuff like that, no problem, because then I know the person beforehand. But if it's someone totally stranger, it's like, okay, because I've heard so many different approaches to LinkedIn. Oh, yeah, I only have people I know and can actually talk good about or refer to other people. Only the people that I worked with, only the people that I know. And then you have the other part that says, my LinkedIn account is open to everyone. So it all depends. Usually I reply. If I have something from a total stranger, I reply with, "Hi, nice that you got in touch with me, but could you tell me a little bit more about yourself and why you wanted to connect with me?" That
right.
And if I get an answer, yeah, no problem. Usually I accept them.
Right. I think the relationship actually starts in this very first letter.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
If you are connected with this person you're seeing in front of you, and you design your way of communicating in a generous way, a curious way, not boasting yourself too much, because the information about you is already in the profile, so they can review that. So you can be humble and interested. Every people in the world likes to be special. So the personalization trend is really, really starting here, connecting. And then you can have a lifelong relationship. Otherwise, they will end up in the pile of dead contacts if you don't know, because you haven't had any communication with them.
Yeah, true. Absolutely true.
So that's the second step. And it's very important, and you have to practice and optimize this. And you learn while you do it many times. So the survey that was mentioned, I actually asked people, I asked them after thanking them for being part, for inviting me to be part of their network. And then I asked, it's the same question 10,000 times. Tell me about how you use LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I got a lot of answers, not 10,000, but enough to have meetings, have conversations. And actually this, you saw the arrow, that case study comes from there, and quite a lot of customers as well. So that's that. And the third one, engage with insight. So the symbol is three persons actually talking together or writing in a group or a post conversation. And I think the difficult thing is really to not just post things. It's really to share something that would engage with insight. So it creates an aha. So if you hear this aha, And people say, oh, this is good, I have to respond. And I want to share this. This is so good. So I want to spread it around to all my network. Then you're on the right track.
Yeah, I realize as well, because I have some like when I post anything on my my own Instagram account, I make it automatically go to LinkedIn with some special changes as well that I can optimize. And I see that I try to boost a lot of like and push a lot of value information. And then sometimes I take some of the posts that I've done that are more of a article kind of way and put them in as an article, but I haven't really been able to spread them as much as I wanted to. Do you have like, how do you work with these sponsored updates that way, or is there another way to like spread the word even further?
Well, it's a really good question, and the listeners would probably say this. Olle is almost always responding in a similar way. So I would say, from a human perspective,
I
would really have to get it in one row of text. And if there is a picture or video, that can help a lot. But you have to think in a way: is this really relevant? And is there something that's really, wow?
Yeah.
Not everything is that, but you can also start small and grow to be, yeah, this is important.
Yeah.
So I would say you could do some kind of cooperating training or engage with people who are good at writing things and understanding how people respond to messages. Or you can just do it many times. If you do it 1,000 times, you would be better at it.
Of course.
There are some tricks, but I don't think tips and tricks are not really the way. You have to do it in a way so you are yourself. And that's, well, let me put it this way. You have something unique to say, and you say it your way.
Exactly, yeah.
If you say it, so it's worth saying. It's like, I think they said this in A Star Is Born. If you have something worth saying, say it your way.
Yeah. True. Yeah, I had another interview where we discussed this about finding your voice and building on that. And as he said then in the beginning, you will suck. So just accept that, and in time you will build up the confidence and the strength and the knowledge of how to do things better and more confident. So yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll let you go on.
Okay, let's speed up a little bit. Act on buying signals. That's a very interesting thing. So what this is a smartphone with one, or it could be some other kind of notification. So if you set up Sales Navigator properly, that would actually give you some, I would say, buying signals. They might be on different phases, but one really interesting function is somebody have changed job. It could be within the company, or somebody actually made a career to take on a new position as a sales director. That's a very interesting moment, because this person is very open for information and they want to do a great job. So if you congratulate them, and you can perhaps send them a video or some kind of download or invitation, which is free of charge, they would actually appreciate that.
Awesome. Yeah.
And that could work forward to some kind of more interesting relationship. That could be a meeting sooner or later. And the fifth is really, I have this, there are people in a row waiting to buy. And this is a situation you can create. Not everybody has this situation. But the whole thing is, I'm going to actually mark, if somebody's talking about selling and marketing, I would say it's about helping people buy. It's about helping companies to buy. So if you shift your thinking from, I want to sell something to somebody, I would say stop selling and listen to this very carefully. I'm going to say it just once. It's like when you're selling, it should be feeling that you are buying.
Yeah, I get it.
So most situations when I've been buying something, I got this thing and I'm very happy. It's a really great feeling. So if you can just save that feeling and see if that feeling is the same feeling you're having when you're selling, you're successful. But if you have another feeling when you're selling, oh, they don't want to respond. Oh, they want to. Oh. Rethink, get back, do a buying process instead of a selling process. That's what it's about.
Interesting. Yeah. I follow the whole thing. I don't think I've really thought in those perspectives, but that's, you're right. Absolutely.
You can also say, stop selling, start networking, because networking is more like a business friendship thing. It's not me wanting to sell something. So business friendship is something which is important in every phase. I would say connect, engage, and also act carefully on the buying signals, of course.
Yeah.
And help. And it's much nicer job to help people than to convince them. Stop convincing, help them. It's an attitude thing. But if you do this with all these tools in the network, well, I think you understand what's going to be the result.
Yeah. So then, Olle, I mean, now we talked about a lot of like the positive things with LinkedIn. Is there anything that you think is missing on the platform, or that could be evolved from like next step?
Well, I'm thinking of two specific functions. I started a group 5 years ago. You're welcome to that. It's called LE Sverige. It's for Swedes. And it's about how we cooperate or collaborate, how using LinkedIn effectively. But unfortunately, LinkedIn has rebuilt their group functionality. So it's been a bit staggering and there's been some stagnation there. And I've been in contact with product manager in California, and she said they were developing some new functionalities and they can actually rebuild the whole thing. So I'm really longing to have this new platform because it will be easier to engage with your group. If you have a common interest like using LinkedIn or digital marketing, you would need some more functionality. It's very stripped and very, very, very basic today. It does some work, but it's not what it could be. That's one thing. The other thing is LinkedIn Corporation has offered a new event functionality. So you could actually invite and organize events in LinkedIn. And I think that would be enormously beneficial to many people.
Do you know when these is the event thing, is that on today?
No, it's not. My expectation was that it would be here already, but in November they said it would be coming soon. So I guess it will be coming soon. But meanwhile, apps and organizations like the Meetup is very successful. So I use Meetup quite a lot, but I'm going to use LinkedIn events soon. What more? I think those are the two things I'm missing the most.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you see any like other use for LinkedIn other than the mainstream ways that we usually talk about when it comes to LinkedIn as a platform to find new jobs? But do you see anything that you could use LinkedIn for that was perhaps not intended for from the beginning?
Well, I think two things. First, I would like to just show this effect of these 5 steps. So this is the kind of effect you can have. So this
Oh,
is
wow.
the Google Calendar of a lot of meeting bookings. So that's nothing you do in LinkedIn platform, but you can do it in any booking platform. So if you do this 5 steps, you can end up with this. So that's the thing I wanted to show.
Awesome.
The other thing is really that I actually didn't know this from the beginning, but a gentleman from the USA, he thanked me. He had followed lots of my posts and interacted in the group and so on. And in the end, he said, "Thank you, Olle. Thanks to this social selling training and some other training you provided, I have now successfully found a kidney for my son. He is sick. And we have had difficulties to find this kidney. But we did some searching, some advanced searching and network on LinkedIn. And now we have this kidney." And it was really interesting because he showed this picture of this guy. I remember his name. He was, I think his name was Tim, and he looked very happy and thankful. Wow.
That's success story. If not, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, well, awesome. So I don't have any specific more questions, Olle. Do you have any last words you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, it's good to be here, and I'm on LinkedIn, and I guess you are, otherwise you should be soon. And I think that the interesting thing we found through this survey is that people are really open to connection, even to people they don't know. And the second thing that's really important is we help each other. So I would say I can help you and you can help me and everybody can help each other. So if we have that attitude, LinkedIn network will be very, very beneficial for all of us. So thank you for your time and thank you, Mats.
Thank you very much, Olle. I really appreciated having you here, and I bet all the audience did as well. Thank you so much for sharing what you know about LinkedIn. And to all the audience, if you really like this one, I would encourage you to go and purchase the All Access Pass for a lifetime access to this and all the other free talks that have been going on during the summit. But you also get access to all the bonus materials. Olle, you will share a deep dive inside the 5-step
Yes,
your VIP video. And together with this, with all the bonus videos, you'll also get a lot more hands-on tools that you can use. So do what I encourage you to do and what most should do. Buy the All Access Pass and get the full benefit from the whole experience of the Successful Marketing Summit. So, Olle, thank you so much for being part of the Successful Marketing Summit. I really appreciate it. We appreciate it.
See you in the All Access Pass. Yes. Bye for now.